Afternoon, folks. That's right. SOS Conversations time. To start off proceedings, let's talk about Julie's new car, because that's what Julie talked about last week and the week before and a little bit of this week. Just joking, Jules. Congratulations on your new car. It is obviously delightful, looks pretty, and yeah, well done. If you could train instead of looking at it while in the gym, that would be really good. But congratulations, Jules, well done. Next topic of conversation, the New Zealand Warriors and the trouble they will cause in the NRL with the preceding 6 games to go and also in the finals. They are my choice of the team that's going to probably take it out this year because they have just gone from strength to strength. Next topic, junior sports under 14s to under 16s. Now, I remember when I was playing at that age group, we had numbers everywhere. But it just seems to be over the past probably 5 to 10 years that age group has sort of petered out, and no one can explain any reasons for it because it's just not in the contact sports of rugby league and rugby union, and to a lesser degree soccer and AFL, but it's across the board. It's netball, it's hockey, it's all the other sports, and I probably think we, as a society, we probably need to sit down and have a look as to why that is happening. Now, a lot of it would probably have to do with contact sports, and the fear of concussion and the fear of long-term health effects. But in saying that, if you can fall over, you can step off the street, trip over your shoelace, and smack your head on the ground. And sometimes, that's the same sort of accident that happens in all contact sports. So, if there's anyone out there that could probably have a look at why the numbers are dwindling and probably get through to local, to the local sports that are really struggling, that'd probably be handy. Next topic of conversation, and this is something that we, I didn't write on the board, someone else do it, but pap smears and the ability to now do a pap smear at home. So the H, and forgive me if I get this wrong, Michelle and Beth, but the HBV or the HVP, one of them, there is an ability to do the test at home. However, the pap smear actually takes it to another degree and another level for testing. So, as was told to me today, if you have a history of cancer in your female side of your family, in your mum, in your sisters, in your aunties, and in your grandparents and great-grandparents, don't do it at home, go and get tested. Pain thresholds with the next topic of conversation, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Pregnancy is one, Tour de France is another, and, the period pain is another one. Me, personally, women are so much tougher than blokes and can handle their pain so much better than we do. And I don't care what we say. All you have to do is, have a look at the amount of pain that a lady goes through to, have a baby. And that would probably have to be the biggest pain indicator out there. Now, I was also told a couple of years ago that there was somebody who developed a set of underpants or an undergarment of some description to put them on blokes. And, the first was period pain and the second was contractions. And let's just say blokes were underperforming. And that's all we need to say. It's, my pain threshold at times is pretty poor and other times is fairly high. And I think it really depends on, what we're doing. So, if you do get pain, probably understand why you're getting pain. If it's a reason, if you're getting pain for no reason, we'll probably go and see somebody. Nicknames was another topic of conversation that we had here in the gym. So for me, growing up as a kid, my dad's nickname was Daisy. His best mate's name was Donald. And, the only duck that's left in that sort of family is Daffy Duck. So I got called Daffy a lot. I also got called Roundy and still get called Roundy by a couple of mates that are really close to me. I don't know why. I've never been round. But yeah, so that's always a bit of fun. Probably the best one I heard was a lady, and if you can figure out what her last name was, but her nickname was Front Caravan. If you can guess it, let us know. All right. And there's been a couple of other different names too that I've been called in the past. Some that are, not presentable on social media. But yeah, look, it's I think it's Australian vernacular of, if you've got a name that someone will just put another name on it, or give you something that's no meaning at all. But when you hear them tell you what the meaning is, you just sort of get it, because we're weird, us Australians. Next topic of conversation was muscle pain and delayed onset muscle soreness, and soreness versus tightness. All right, so if you go to the gym and you're going to get muscle pain, and it lasts, in some cases 12 hours, in some cases 24 hours, and in the most extreme cases it lasts up to 48 to 72 hours, and then add another 24 hours after that into 96. That's how long it can last. Now, there's a couple of different reasons for that. The first one is if your body is not conditioned to that sort of shock of the effort that you're going to put in. Of course, you're going to get some sort of muscle pain and DOMS, as well as soreness and tightness. But the best thing to do, folks, and you can do ice bars, you can wear compression garments, you can do a whole bunch of these other recovery mechanisms to ensure that you recover well. Two big things: sleep and move. All right, nutrition is up there in the third one as well. Make sure you get your protein. All right, because if you don't get your protein, you're probably going to be a little bit sore for a little bit longer. So sleep. Make sure you get quality sleep. Move. Do not just sit down after you've done a big session and go, oh my God, that was the biggest session I've ever done. And not move, because that soreness will continue to last for longer. All right, get up and move. If you did a big chest session, do some push-ups. Just get the blood flowing to those areas in the body. All right, for those that don't know, here at the school we have a big Arsed Goals board. All right, and on that board there's some bloody good stuff on it. One of the ones that has sort of piqued everyone's interest is to press 50 kilo dumbbells. Now, I know for one that we have no one in our gym membership that can press 50s. All right. Every now and again we get a visit from the man Mountain Dalfanukin himself, and he lifts them. But we use ours not just for pressing. So we use ours for deadlift. We use them for squats. We just use them for a whole bunch of different other reasons as well. But that big ass goal on the board, that's going to be, when that gets hit, whoa, that's going to be mind-blowing. All right, the closest that we've got here is we've got a couple of blokes who can bench 47 and a halves. 50s are just that little bit too far, but, we are getting there. So, if you've got a big-ass goal, make sure it's big. All right, if you've been sleeping under the rock for the past 5 days, you will know that the Women's World Cup of Soccer is on. And I shouldn't have to call it soccer because it's a Women's World Cup, and everybody should know that lives on the planet Earth that World Cup means soccer. Well, yes and no. But, Matildas, who knows what's going to happen? Hometown support, we get a couple of good runs with not having injuries to key players, and the Matildas could be playing in the finals. And it's just one of these things that, if it does happen, I tell you what, Albo, if they do it and you don't call a public holiday, your name will be mud for a very long time, young man. So remember that, all right? Next one, the Talent Development Program. Now, this sounds like to a lot of people like it's an accountant, or big business acronym, but it's not. The Talent Development Program is for talented musicians and artists. We're fairly lucky here in Bega. Last year, we had the wonderful Felicity Dowd make the final of that competition. And this year, we have Angus Carpenter, who has been selected into the first round. Now, the reason why this is a big deal is because, one, they're Bega's finest musicians, and two, they're students here. So why wouldn't we put that on the board, all right? And we're going to follow Angus's, rise and hopefully gets to the final and wins it and then goes off to stardom because he can sign the board up here like all the other superstars do. It's been a rather odd week this week here because yesterday, being Thursday, for the third time in owning a gym, I slept in. 6:25 I woke up, said to Susie, it's 6:25. She goes, really? And I don't know why people would have to lie about a time. But so 6:25, woke up, got dressed. The 6 a.m. lads, true to their credit, went, gym shut, where do we go? We go to Franco's. So at 6:34, that's where I found them. And, lovely bunch of guys sitting down, drinking coffee and taking the absolute out of me for being late. All right. But, if you've never been late for work, good on you because you are a champion. It's just one of these things about, sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. And as I said, it's the third time in my entire gym life of running a gym I've been late. So, last one on the board, NRLW starts this weekend. And there's a couple of names that we know, and hopefully there's a couple of names that you're going to get to hear about. So the first two big superstars of the Bega Valley, Kezzy Apps and Millie Boyle, I have no doubt that you two will absolutely cause terror and mayhem. A name that you may get to hear for the Canberra Raiders is young Dummett. And if she gets on that field, she's just going to tear it up. All right, and I have no doubt, she's a development player at the moment, but I have no doubt, hopefully this year, and hopefully not because, there's probably a couple of injuries that will need to occur for her to get on. But if she gets on, there's going to be players going, where'd she come from? What does she do? Because she is a superstar. She's the next superstar from the Valley. And the last one is Crystal Blackwell. So the news just in is that Crystal Blackwell got picked up to play, and Crystal's from Goulburn. So Crystal got picked up to play in the North Queensland Cowboys NRLW side. She was in the squad at number 14. She has now, because of an injury, has been selected in her first NRLW game. So, I had a bit to do with Crystal this year at the New South Wales Rise Rookie Academy. Just an absolute superstar. So to all you ladies, who are representing the Bega Valley and beyond, get into it. All right, that's it for another week, folks. Peace out. Be good.